you ever remember that Monty Python sketch with, what do Romans ever do for us? Well, what about sanitation? Yeah, apart from sanitation. Well, you could apply that to Britain now, couldn't you? Because all we ever hear about is reparations and colonialism and, you know, the fact that we owe everyone a debt. What did the British ever do when they were going around the world? You know, this tiny little island nation with people like me and you sailing the boats, fighting the wars, doing the trade, climbing mountains to mark out how high they were, you know, working out with the locals what opportunities there were to buy and sell, setting up the trade system, setting up liberal democracy, all those stuff. Well, I'll tell you what we did. We created this. This is who we are, Britain. So I'm currently on the Mall, you know, the beating heart of the British Empire. Look at all these tourists everywhere. Why is it that the tourists want to come here and celebrate us, but we hate ourselves so much? You know, they know something about us that we seem to be getting told is not acceptable anymore. I think it's a bloody shame. Because at the end of the day, what did the British bring? Well, we set up liberal democracy, we set up the rule of law, we set up freedom, we set up you know, all of the empire trading routes, we set up the capitalist Western system that we have today, and we were fair. We abolished slavery, you know, we learned from our mistakes, and actually, whilst there were some bad things that happened, as there is in any empire, as there is in any age, if we judge it from today's standards, you know, we're going to be shocked. But actually, in their standards, they actually were achieving a lot, probably in the fairest manner. And they continue to set the standard, which has like essentially made the liberal Western democracy that we enjoy today. So that's what the British gave to the world. And you will find that there's some countries that have the legacy of colonialism who say, oh well, we've been harmed and traumatised by the British Empire's rule, but actually they would have benefited in other ways as well, because they'll probably still use our legal system, they'll probably still use our education system, although we don't anymore. And all of that legacy of empire and the British colonial rule, as we so rightly hate, actually has left a pretty positive impact on the rest of the world as well. And we need to remember that. Also, more importantly, I wasn't enslaving anyone. I wasn't going out colonising anyone. You know, nor were my ancestors. My ancestors would have been in the cotton factories or the mines, and so would yours. You know, we were enslaved just as much as anyone else. We were the ones that were sent into wars. We were the ones that were in the mines. You know, so when people talk about white privilege and all of this great, amazing sort of benefit that we get, where is it? Why are people still starving? Why are people still homeless? Why are people still struggling, you know, to make ends meet, when apparently we've got everything given to us? Not true. And this is where there's a bit of a dichotomy, because we're told one thing and we can actually see with our own eyes that it's not the case. However, this is something that we need to be very proud of, you know, our heritage, our history, you know, everything that happens that comes down this road, all of the state ceremonies, that is who we are. And we need to always remind ourselves of that and have that pride in our hearts, because then we will be able to rise again as a great nation, not listening to all the crap from the people that are trying to put us down or say that we should be ashamed, because we're not, are we? We're British.